It's got to be real.
Yes guys, okay, so let me just get straight into the video, right? I wasn't gonna make this video, but I've decided I'm going to make it. I've seen something, right, which has really altered my opinion. I've gone from one side of the spectrum. I don't usually do this, but I've gone totally to the other side of the spectrum. Look, I'm not picking against Anthony Joshua, irrespective of whatever, right? Look, I like Anthony Joshua. I think he's a humble guy, and I've met him, and I'm not a dog, I'm not a snake, and I'm not picking against Anthony Joshua. I think he's. I'm just not gonna do that. I'm sorry, I'm just not gonna do that. Wrong or right, I'm sticking with my guns, and I'm gonna pick Joshua to win this fight. This is Be Real TV, and I've got to give you guys what I see, okay? And I'm telling you what I see. Now, on one hand, we have a bulldozer in Anthony Joshua. He's very, very strong, okay? He's very big, he's very muscular, he's a big hitter, and he could potentially just bulldoze straight through Charles Martin, because Charles Martin is not a big fighter. However, let me tell you this, right, and I've seen this in Charles Martin. When it comes to his boxing inside the ring, when he's got an opponent in front of him, Charles Martin looks absolutely rubbish, right? He looks like a fighter who shouldn't even be in the same ring as Anthony Joshua, if I'm dead honest with you, okay? But when you see him on the pads and when you see him shadowboxing, he's showing gears which he hasn't gone into yet. I've just seen him shadowboxing for Anthony Joshua, and I'm going to tell you this, right now, he is a nightmare for Anthony Joshua. I'm going to tell you why, okay, in a second. This is why Tyson Fury is picking Charles Martin to win this fight. You know what it is? It's not about predictions and stuff. I'm just breaking it down for you, and I'm gonna tell you guys, like, you know, what the script is with this fight. Now, Anthony Joshua, right? Let me tell you where he lacks. He has no lateral movement. He's not slow on his feet, but he doesn't know how to use his feet. He loads up on shots. He keeps his chin up in the air, and he doesn't have a great defense. Okay, I'm gonna be straight up, and I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Okay, that's Anthony Joshua's weaknesses. However, it's very easy saying that, right? Now, they are Anthony Joshua's weaknesses, but he overcomes them through his incredible offense. Charles Martin, right? He might be able to expose this about Anthony Joshua, because you see, until now, Anthony Joshua has never faced a fighter anywhere in the league of Charles Martin. Charles Martin is an American-based fighter, right, who keeps his chin tucked down. He bobs and he weaves. He's southpaw. He has a good hand guard. When I say hand guard, he knows how to use his hands to block and defend punches. He's got very good lateral movement. He pivots really well. Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, I have seen no footwork in him in fights. I don't think he knows how to use his feet, and I don't think it's Anthony Joshua's fault. I think his training, I'm going to say it like it is, I think his training's rubbish. I'm not going to be disrespectful, but I've got to say it like it is. I think his trainer's rubbish. I don't think his trainer's done a very good job with him. Do I think it's early for Anthony Joshua? No, go for it. Anthony Joshua could very well just, like, he has a big puncher's chance because he's so strong and he's so well conditioned that Anthony Joshua, you can't write him off, and you've got to pick him in this fight because simply because of the physical dimensions. Joshua's just too big, too strong. And I can't see how Charles Martin stays away from Joshua for 12 rounds. And I don't think Charles Martin has the ability to, I don't know, he might knock Joshua out, but I don't know. I just see Anthony Joshua being too strong, and maybe I'm buying into the hype, right? But for me, Anthony Joshua, I'm not going to be a hater, right, and come on the channel and, you know, my home fighter who I've seen, like, you know, come up the ranks, and I'm not going to go against him in his world title fight, man. That's a dog move. I'm just not going to do that. I'm backing Anthony Joshua, my team AJ all the way. But, like, look, man, I've got to break the boxing down as well at the same time. And from what I see, Charles Martin at the moment in his shadow boxing, in his pad work, he's showing things which I don't think Anthony Joshua is. I mean, my boxing brain's telling me, like, Charles Martin's gonna whoop Anthony Joshua's ass. He's gonna dance around him for 12 rounds and box him. But you see, the difference is, right, that we're seeing this in the shadow boxing, but when it comes to the fights, Charles Martin, it looks absolutely terrible. He doesn't know how to use his He doesn't have to load up on shots. He doesn't have to finish an opponent off. He's got a good left hand, and he's a southpaw. He's got a good straight left hand down the pipe. But the thing is that with Charles Martin, right, although he has good lateral movement, he pivots well, he uses the ring real estate really well, he keeps his chin tucked down, he's not going to get caught easily off Joshua, right? Although he's got that, this is shadow boxing, and this is the thing, right? He's shadow boxing in real fights, right? The two different things. And in real fights, I haven't seen Charles Martin even utilize any of what he does in shadow boxing. It's like they're two different fighters. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens on Saturday night when Anthony Joshua faces Charles Martin. If Charles Martin comes out, right, look, man, I'm going to say this, right? And I know this is a bit of a silly statement to make, but this is what I'm going to say. If Charles Martin fights, right, like he's doing in shadow boxing, where he's using lateral movement, pivoting, and he's using the ring, right, Charles Martin will win this fight, okay? If he doesn't, if he fights like he's been fighting in the fights that we've seen him in, he's going to get taken out and dismantled, right? So, I don't know, but man, I'm going to say what I want to say, right? Predictions, no predictions. This is just how I'm putting it, right? You can say that I'm covering all bases, but the truth of the matter is, right, Charles Martin, we haven't seen enough of him to make any sort of judgment call on this. As far as what I'm seeing in shadow boxing, he whoops Anthony Joshua all over. He will outbox him. He will pivot around him. He will use his footwork. Anthony Joshua's going to struggle to catch him. He's going to use angles, and Anthony Joshua's just going to keep missing, right, because he's just too big. Anthony Joshua, although he's got so much power, he gets a little bit clumsy. I'm not going against Joshua. I'm still picking Joshua to win, but I just think that if Charles Martin does what he's doing in shadow boxing, right, he can win. But if he does what he does in fights, he ain't gonna win. Okay, and Anthony Joshua is going to steamroll him. This is why, like, when I first made my prediction, I just went with Anthony Joshua hands down, because I just saw Charles Martin a couple of fights, and I thought, nah, he doesn't stand a chance. He's not going to do anything to Joshua. The truth of the matter is, it could just be that he hasn't come out of second gear. I mean, that could very well be the case, but until we've seen him do it, I mean, we've seen Anthony Joshua go through it, right? And we know Joshua's got gears, and we know Joshua's got some hardcore punching power, so I'm expecting that to prevail for him. But I mean, if Charles Martin comes out and does what he's doing in the shadow boxing, Anthony Joshua's not equipped to deal with that. I'm gonna tell you that right off the bat. 2-part prediction. Either, right, Charles Martin comes out and does what he's doing in shadow boxing, what he's doing on the pads, what he's doing in training, and he wins the fight quite convincingly, right? Whether that's by a late round knockout somewhere flush, yeah, using an angle, hitting that straight left hand, timing Joshua, or whether he wins on points, not getting caught for 12, right? If he does what he does in shadow boxing, you just watch it, right? You'll see a totally different fighter. He'll win the fight. If he starts doing that stuff, right, what he's doing in other fights, he's going to lose his fight by early knockout by Anthony Joshua. I know that's a bit of a easy prediction to what I'm saying, but you've got to understand where I'm coming from. We haven't seen enough of Charles Martin. This is my prediction. I'm sticking with what I'm saying. It's a 2-part prediction. It's not really even prediction. It's just more of I'm just saying it like it is. Comment section below, subscribe as always. Let me know what you think. Make sure you visit www.berealboxing.com and make sure you vote for the top 10 pound for pound list that we've got going on. You can vote for your top 10 fighters you think should be the number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 in the pound for pound rankings. And then on the 1st of May, it'll update on berealboxing.com. Make sure you go check that out and tell me what you think about this fight. Tell me what you think about what I've said. Charles Martin, man, in shadow boxing and stuff, he's just looking incredible. But that's shadow boxing in a bit.